Welcome everyone to our live stream.
We're the Water Street Blues Band, and this is Talkin About Undead. This Wednesday at 9 p.m., our special Halloween show.
This week, we have an outstanding show with our very, very special guest, Jane Siberry, on Talkin About Live. Buckle up and get ready for this, folks.
So you ready? Oh, there we are.
Paul, what?
Oh, jeez, it's spooky.
You've got something?
What are you guys doing?
Oh, you've got a spider over your head. Well, welcome to Talkin About Live. We're your hosts. I'm Count Rob.
I'm Sylvia. I play piano, keys and squeeze, accordion that is.
And I'm Paul. I play the bass guitar, and I play with my hair.
And it's very beautiful hair at
Nice.
that.
Paul, I noticed a bit of a transformation with the rabbit, which reports to you, I thought. But he looks like he's
Very scary. He's gone to the dark side. He's looking very evil. That must be his evil twin.
with those giant pocket ones.
It's terrifying me, and I'm a vampire.
Yeah, no, he's transformed himself, and we're looking forward to going trick-or-treating together in my basement this year. So how you doing out there, folks? Thank you for joining us, and feel free to post your comments, your likes, your dislikes, and lots of little love hearts. That would be great, and please share us. And tonight we've got a fantastic show coming up. We're so honored to have Jane Siberry on the show. Really a personal hero of mine, and I'm sure many of yours as well. So it's just really an honor, but we're going to ruin everything first with a whole bunch of segments that we created, and some stuff that I've pulled out of the closet to really get going on this. Yeah. So this week
You've got a
I've
very
really
special. You've got a very special vinyl collection that you've been saving up for years, and you've been digging in it for the last several months. Ooh, it's scary.
I've been up to my neck with I've been up to my neck in vinyl this year. I've had to pull everything out, but this one is one of my favorite collections. So let's just dive right into it.
Oh.
So Sylvia, tell us a little bit about this one, then I'll tell you how I feel about all of this.
Well, okay. I mean, they're your records, but it's the Dickies, and it's the album itself is called "Hair from the Dog That Bit Us." So.
And the Dickies are a great sort of punk new wave band.
Okay.
Rockers. So, Paul, how do you feel about this record?
Well, for me, this is important because it correlates again with our tech Fluffy, and this really kind of maps out a history that he's experienced. You see, Fluffy became a carnivore for a little while, and things went really awry. So, but I love these kind of covers, eh? These are just nuts, and they're very creative and fun. And in this case, this one is frightening. So I thought I'd share it with you guys.
Yeah.
This is a personal favorite of mine. This was a show that I loved as a young boy, a young vampire, and I related to it very much. But I especially related to it because really, underneath the whole show were a lot of messages about tolerance and treating our differences with respect. And I think that's a message that is very much deserving in today's world.
Yeah.
That's what you thought too, Paul?
That's all good, and I agree with that. But what I really think is cool is the hot rod behind them. Why would these guys have a hot rod like that, especially a stretch hot rod? I thought that was the coolest part of the show.
I think that was a thing in TV back then. I mean, Batman had his car, and the Monkees had the Monkey Mobile. If people remember that, everybody seemed to have a hot rod in those days.
Yeah, and there was Kit for Magnum PI, right? Wasn't that Kit, or who was Kit? No, that was the other car. I can't remember now. But they were all stretched in some way. They were all pulled and disfigured, and kind of rearranged. Philly Joe Jones, though. I'm sure you're all familiar with Philly Joe Jones and his companion, the bat. And if you can start playing snare drum with a bat attached to your stick, I think what you'll get a kind of a softer shuffle sound out of it, and that's really what he was really good at. Blues for Dracula.
Well, this is a really serious record on the Riverside label.
Yes, it's very serious, Rob. Extremely serious. This is a collector thing.
I need to go.
You got to get it to understand it.
There's a backstory to this record, and I need to go there. Philly Joe Jones, of course, was the drummer in Miles Davis's first great quintet.
Paul, we're going down the rabbit hole.
And Tommy Flanagan was the piano player, and of course, Tommy Flanagan was the musical director for Ella Fitzgerald for many, many years. Johnny Griffin plays sax on this, and Johnny Griffin obviously was a contemporary of Sonny Rollins and John Coltrane, and played many really great gigs with Thelonious Monk. Nat Adderley is Cannonball Adderley's, Julian Adderley's brother, and played. This is important stuff. He played trumpet with him for his entire career. Julian Priestner.
Somehow every record I bring to the show connects to Cannonball Adderley. You can weave connection between anyone and Cannonball.
I have two more players there, and they're important. Okay. Julian Priestner plays trombone, and it must have been one of the first gigs that he ever did on record. And Jimmy Garrison is on bass, and Jimmy Garrison was in John Coltrane's classic quartet on bass. So I finished.
Okay, that was great, Rob. We appreciate it for sure.
So get this album. I don't know if it's still available. I just hopped to this.
Okay.
Only in the evening. It's only available in the evening.
Good. Not again.
Yeah, this is Halloween instead of Halloween. And, it's in keeping with our theme tonight. And the whole thing about this is that, it correlates with Fluffy. And I didn't mention this earlier. We'll be doing part 2 of Fluffy's biography later on in the show. But the problem with this is that this rabbit does not fit in that hat. And this was the problem with trying to stuff the rabbit in the hat. And this is Fluffy again. Yeah. So this is the back of the cover. And what I find interesting about this is not actually the way the rabbit is posing. It's that pumpkin is very poorly carved.
Okay.
Well, what's disturbing is I think he's eaten the magician. I think he went on from dogs and went into magicians. So Fluffy. He was totally pissed. Not good. Not good.
Folks, this is an incredibly sophisticated show, and for that reason, we've brought on one of my all-time favorite pieces here called Circus Crown Calliope.
It's Calliope.
What?
Pardon me?
Paul, it's Calliope.
It's Calliope.
It's a Scottish pronunciation.
Calliope.
Greek pronunciation is Calliope. How do you say it in Italian, Sylvia?
Calliope. It means muse.
No. Calliope in Greek means constipated, and that's what's going on with this clown, this guy.
It's Calliope.
Yeah, and you gotta think about it. Like this guy has an idea. Let's do a record. Let's call it Circus Clown Calliope, and then he got a photographer, and this is the best they could do at the end of the day.
We actually own a Calliope.
We did at one time.
2002.
Oh, there it is, Paul. You brought a picture of it.
The waterstreet Calliope. Yeah, we have 3 payments left on it. We bought it in 2002, and it was an aggressive payment schedule.
We had to sell an awful lot of our first record to afford all of those payments.
This guy.
Really, we've been gigging for 25 years live in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, Guelph area, and we've basically put all of our earnings toward this Calliope. Calliope. Wow. How do you pronounce it again?
Calliope.
I know, that's the Highlands pronunciation.
It's Calliope.
Now, this is one that I was involved in. This is my first wife and I. I'm for those of you that know me, I'm about 5'2", and this is when I was actually smaller. I was really stiff at this for this cover. I felt wooden, almost wooden.
Trees tall.
Yeah, and it's Geraldine and Ricky. Geraldine, my nickname was Ricky at the time, but anyway, Geraldine took care of me. She was. This shoot did not go well because I was standing on her dress. But you know, she did. I did what she said.
Well, this is no. This is another very serious record and a very serious performer. This looks
like most of my dreams.
This is Screaming Jay Hawkins, and Screaming Jay Hawkins is a serious performer. He is best known for his tune "I Put a Spell on You." And this is the cover of his singles collection. And little known fact that he actually aspired to and started out as an opera singer. He tried that. I'm not sure how successful he was because he shifted his career fairly quickly into R&B, blues, and rock and roll. And rumor has it that when they recorded I Put a Spell on You, I think everyone except the engineer was in a slightly altered state. And they had to come back and listen to the tapes after the session to remember the song, so that because it blew up, it became a hit. It was instantly very popular, and they had to listen to the tapes to be able to recreate it. He was convinced. He was on one of the early rock and roll shows with the DJ Alan Freed, who convinced him to come onto stage in a coffin. And he would open the lid of the coffin and then proceed to do his show. He wasn't really keen about doing it at first, but it became a big hit, and he carried that on through the balance of his career. But Screamin' Jay Hawkins was a character and one of the pillars of early rock and roll and R&B.
Congratulations, Rob. Now you've made it impossible to have Jane on the show because we've run out of time.
In fact,
and finally, this is not vintage vinyl. This is really current artwork by Jane Siberry, and this is her recent single called Monster Love, which is available online, and we'll be talking about it later. But I have a real love for this cover and its creativity, and I went out and bought all of that jewelry from Reitman's. So I'll be presenting that later. Joking aside, we'll be talking about this a little bit later on. But it's a lovely cover, and I think it's really kind of addresses the spirit of the evening. So having said that, we have on the show tonight Jane Siberry, and we'd like to introduce her. Folks, this is Jane Siberry, and welcome to the show.
All right. Hello.
Welcome, Jane.
Oh.
I think you may need to unmute yourself.
This is fascinating watching the three of you interact.
It's very dysfunctional.
A little bit.
Jane, welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you here, and
thank you.
Our audience is so happy to have you here too. What an honor.
Do you have an audience? I can't see.
They're out there in radio land or internet land, live stream land, but we're seeing their comments come up.
That would be nice. I feel sort of adrift in a insular world here.
Yeah.
Can I see the chat too?
I'm not sure.
I can pop that up for you in our next scene. I'll work on that for sure.
I see a chat, but it doesn't have. Okay, so I won't take any more time with that, but you've been very gracious, Paul, and been in touch with me for quite a while, so I finally made it.
Yay.
And
thank you, Jane.
Thank you for where you're coming from to invite me.
Well, it's terrific, Jane. You know, I've and many of our audience and many of our friends have been following your career. and the wonderful tapestry and colors and weavings of your artwork and your music, and you're really sharing a lot of your thinking and mind with our audience over the years, and myself particularly. It's really an honor to have you on the show. And so you've been really busy lately, creating some new music and releasing new music, and we've all really been discovering a new format and a new platform for doing that. So please tell us a little bit about some of your recent projects musically.
Whoa, that's a lot of words. Well, for people who are listening, there's no real way to release music, and I certainly don't want to wait 2 years to release something. It means you're out of the air. I just really want to be in the air, so I'm releasing them, like a lot of people, as a single. So I'm doing 3 new songs this month, 1 a week, and this is the first one. I want to say something. I made a mistake in doing this song because people are saying I can understand a little bit, but I'm frustrated because I can't hear all the words. So I realized I shouldn't have let it be clear enough. I shouldn't have made it clear enough for them to even hear one word, because they instead of letting go, it frustrated them. I'm sure you know that phenomenon. So you'll know what I mean when you hear it.
When you hear it, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I really appreciate about the track Monster Love is that, for me at least, and everybody interprets these things differently, so I mean, I've used my imagination. You've used your voice as really an instrument that's on par with the other instruments in the weaving of the sound, and depending on how much you want to engage in the words versus the music, they have different meaning every time you listen to it. And I was wondering if that was part of the approach that you wanted to take for that track.
Yes.
Well, you talked about your audience being frustrated. I enjoyed being able to pick out some words because I found that it sort of drew me in deeper into the song. I appreciated the words as sound collage, but when I was catching some words, I was thinking, well, maybe it means this, maybe it means that, but it sparked my imagination and drew me further into the song. I was not frustrated at all. It put a huge smile on my face.
You can get the words wrong because you can't quite hear, and then you make up your own song, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I will release the words at a certain point, but I didn't want to do that too soon.
I think that's that's wise. I think that mystery is what makes that song really, really cool.
And textured.
Well, I can play it now.
We would love to play it now. We could play it now, and we have
You guys are so funny.
We're not trying to be funny, Jane.
Yeah.
This is really the way it is for us. We'll be funny next time.
we
Eyes more so low. Eyes more so low. I give me the most love. I need some most love. Not the human part. Not the human part. Most love. Not the human part. Take me to the heart. 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 But I'm a higher. se muscle. And you got this muscle. Well, no, it's not TV, Baba. Well, no, it's not TV, Baba. Take me by my hand, I listen to help me understand the beauty of that tiny flower. Tell me your iPod plan. I listen so low.
Folks, Jane Siberry's most recent single, and you've got a couple of coming up as well this week, right?
Yes, the next song is called, it's sort of a remake of an older song called Tiny Lies Are Killing Me, but I'm changed it into Tiny Truths Are Thrilling Me.
Uh-huh.
Now it's has that new dimension, and the last line is, some days even lipstick is a lie, which is a place I'm often in, which makes me a bit hard to be with sometimes. But I think it's in the air, and I think it's really in the air to be as honest as we can be, see true, not want to be right, but want to see true more than anything. And when I say honest, I don't mean telling someone you don't like their dress. Just, cut the dross.
Right.
Best we can for why? For the greater good, to lift it so we can get on with taking care of this, beautiful place.
And that message is so important right now.
Really.
So important right now.
Have you noticed that the momentum is slowing down a bit for everything that started happening with the anti-racism and stuff? I'm watching it, and I really, really don't want it to go back to how it used to be. We need to it's like bringing the boils to the surface of the skin, and before they really clear, they get absorbed back into the body again. Don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
No, the energy needs to stay where it is. Change won't happen if the energy dissipates.
No. I don't think so anyway.
As we actively focus, I think, is what you're saying. You've been doing that kind of work too, Jane.
Yeah, a lot of people have. I mean, I like many people, I read so much, when people started, sending lists, resources out, like so many people reading and doing what Black culture really, whatever you need will do. So reading, learning about the delicate nuances in language that is offensive that we never notice. Yes. Okay. It's such an interesting time, I think. Really, really, really interesting and scary.
It is scary, but I think what you're talking about is doing the personal work, going into the interior and searching yourself for your own truths and how you relate to the world and the conditions, the racist conditions that exist in the world, and certainly there's work to be done in communities as well. I'm a big believer in communities, and if we can go into the interior, but then bring that out and engage with others, that's really important.
In a new way.
Yes.
New ways of engagement, yeah.
More
silence, more like a cartoon where only the important things are on the paper, and you lose all the sort of chat and knee-jerk comments, to operate on a whole different level of clarity.
And a lot of listening.
Yes. I was just up north in Canada, and it takes me about 4 or 5 days before my, those filters we have so that we don't hear the noise, we don't hear the clock, we don't hear the, streetcar. But they're there physically, even if our scientific apparati are not sophisticated enough to be able to measure and see these things. They're there, and it takes about 5 days for them to dissolve. And then, like, you hear so much, it's shocking. You can actually hear the hum of the earth, or I think you can. It's that silent and that deep and beautiful, and it's like hearing the greater. It's like you can go into communion with this most, remarkable energy. And it's there all the time, but we're always missing it because we live in cities and in a world that doesn't value it as much, except for a certain stream of people, of course. But that's makes it. I think it will make people happier as we move forward with that kind of connection.
Do you feel there's a quiet that we've never had before?
Do you?
And and a kind of quiet and space that we've never had before, at least in my lifetime, which makes it possible to be really honest and to be really mindful of everything that we're doing.
You're saying you haven't had this quiet? You're feeling there's a quietness that you've never attuned to?
Yeah, I'm just feeling that the current conditions have really quieted everything down in some ways. There's a lot of noise in the media, but on a personal level, it's given us all an opportunity to take stock and find gratitude in everything around us, and listen to music differently, and to engage with people differently, and even the way that we're doing music now. During this time, our group, and I know that you've really changed the model that you're working with. It's creating a lot of space in people's heads to listen to each other better than ever.
Yeah, I can't believe that we, and I don't mean just musicians, but music lovers, sold out to Walmart and Shoppers and whatever, because music is so precious and sacred, and it sells things. People love music, and so we let it be background music, and so people are so stuffed full of sound, musical sound, that it's affected our hunger for it and our appreciation. It's like, why do we have it all the time everywhere? Because people know it sells things. But that's a crappy way to live. So I'm very happy for more space now, and maybe we can rethink that background music thing too in stores. If you want to sell more things, have better things.
Right.
What a concept.
What a concept.
So true.
Anyway, when are people going to get enough things that they can stop shopping? Like, when will we have enough basic things like cutlery and stuff? And then stop. Why does it keep going in circles? And then we could get rid of those strip malls and the big box stores, which
disposable
take
architecture.
all the character out of these beautiful little towns. And do we really want to lose the character? I don't know. Anyway, I see people talking about these things, and I hope the momentum doesn't slow down right now, because people sense they have more power than they used to.
Yeah, you said something earlier that intrigued me. Like you combined the two notions of this being a kind of joyful time and a frightening time as well. And I think somehow I feel that intersection between the two it's really a gift that we can. It's a difficult thing, but it's also a gift that we can experience this in our own life, in our time here. And this happens once in a lifetime, this type of situation.
The lockdown?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe a generation or
Several
100 years.
Did you ever think that anything could stop progress? I thought it was like useless, like the bulldozer of progress. You can't stop it. It's going to mow down everything that's beautiful and cut down living things like trees, and yet the pandemic, this thing you can't even see, stopped movement all around the world at the same time, like Russia, all over the world. Can you believe that? Like, it was really quiet then, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like a mosquito, it can like totally affect your sleep.
It changed.
You know,
It
tiny
changed.
little thing.
It changed. It changed maybe a wavelength so that we could pause long enough to consider what is meant by progress to begin with. When
Yeah.
we can be taken down by something.
There's an opportunity there for those willing to take it, and there's an impatience for others who wish to go back to the way they were. And and I find there's a tension between those two things right now, and I'm just hoping that the people who see that as opportunity can seize that and create something of beauty that's lasting, and makes a difference in society and makes a difference for the planet.
Well, I think somewhere Belsize or something, cities have made interesting decisions where all the cars you can't go take cars into the city on Sundays. Everything opens up to pedestrians, like taking that openness we had when all the animals came out, and just that was a good thing. So we'll do it every Sunday, and other decisions that people are just sort of saying, well, we're going to do it ourselves if the government isn't going to do it. Like, I think that's so healthy, self-government, and just do it because it's the right thing. So, yeah, sorry, Rob, I went on a bit too long, but yeah, I agree.
There's so many hopeful notes you're describing. It's like as even, appreciation of being outdoors. Even if you live in a city, it gave us a chance to hear what we wouldn't have heard before and maybe get closer to what there is coming up in the soil. And it seemed to slow us down enough to notice.
That you've been doing this for many years, and there's a brightness and an optimism in your music that, you could interpret your work in many different ways, and I have over the years, but there's always kind of an essential baseline in your music where it's all about happiness, and it's all about the pursuit of honesty. And anyway, that's why we love you.
That's not all about happiness, but yes, I know why you said that. There's a through line that's positive, and I noticed that when I decided to change my name and leave my career of Jane Siberry. I put all my music together, and I was really satisfied that there's a through line of consistency and depth and positive. So when I said goodbye to Jane Siberry, it was, well, that's not too bad, And then I came back, but I think everything is positive. Everyone's original and beautiful, but the more authentic we are, which means simply the more we are ourselves, deeper and more beautiful we get. And that's the same thing with writing music. You can't help, if you're closer to your core, it can't help but be deeper and more connected to what other people are feeling. I think not happy, not sad, but because the deep part of us is balanced in some way and experiencing everything: sad, happy, joy, deep, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said something about being up north and having the filters drop away, and it takes a process, about 5 days before you can.
Well, for me, yeah.
And I grew up in the prairies, and in winter in the prairies, it doesn't take very long to leave the city, and be in the middle of a space that's almost like white space, white noise, especially if the wind is going. And at night, it's truly magical because you have the opportunity and on occasion to see the northern lights, and then you realize how small you are and how much energy there is in the world, and the beauty that creates with the whiteness of the snow and the colors, the shifting colors of the northern lights, and the wind and the quiet at the same time. All you hear is, if you choose to stay still in that moment, you can really feel yourself grounded, but yet small and almost a part of the planet at that very moment.
Yeah, I think stillness is like a window. It's a portal that we step out into where we're supposed to be, stillness. Well, anyway, this is pretty abstract, I hope.
No, it's terrific. And do you want to do something for us?
Oh, yeah, okay. What's that? Sorry.
Sounds good.
Okay. Really what's in my heart too is songs that I'm working on in my head. They're floating around, but you came home for Thanksgiving to see your family, braced for the low-grade depression and the disconnected life that you'd see. Your mom was dressed in her very best, and your father was in the easy chair. Then you had dinner, and as fast as you could, you took your leave. You said you had work to do, and you went and stood by the front door. And then something strange happened. You looked at your mother, your father in his easy chair. You said goodbye, but as you said it, a flash went up your spine and past your head. You went to say goodbye, but instead you said, oh, mother, father, thank you for all you've sacrificed for me. Your father shook the paper, rattled it, and didn't know what to say, 'cause normally he says, you goddamn fag, how did you ever spring from my loins? And your mother would grimace and look away and say, oh, Fred. And your father stood up and he started to walk towards you, and you braced for the attack. He went to say, oh, you, and instead he stumbled on the shag rug and fell accidentally or not into your arms, and he said, forgive me, my son. You made your way out the front door and down to the subway. The suburbs look different now. The front porch is not so far away. You stumbled down the stairs and you went to the platform like you did when you were young every day. And you heard this strange sound and you looked around and people didn't seem to hear it, and you said, can't you hear this? And it got louder and louder. You moved towards the sound, dancing like you never thought you could, and you looked at the others to see if they would, but instead a baby started to cry and a woman screamed and someone came rushing towards you as you moved into the song. Oh, may you never feel this way again. May the angels bend closer when you feel you don't have. May the subway train tracks lift up and show you when the sun's upon your face and the music is your friend. But beyond all this, beyond all this, beyond the nobleness of gristle and the magnificence of grist, there's just one thing you need recall, that's all, and it is this: you always have been, and you always will be well.
It was beautiful.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
Absolutely beautiful.
That's okay with the
Jane, we're getting some great comments in from a lot of people watching us tonight. A lot of people saying we're watching with you, Jane. Hello, Jane. A lot of people acknowledging and agreeing with your your presentation of what's happening currently. A lot of magnificence. Anyway, we'll share those with you later on tonight.
Okay.
And it was terrific. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. So I was going to ask you a little bit about some of your recent projects, and one that's intriguing me is Laundry Lane. And would you mind telling us a little bit more about that?
Yes. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about this too, and not just now, but how do you be a musician in a way that makes you feel great about it and proud of the way you're operating in the world? And so I've been struggling with that too, and wondering how to do it in a way that makes me feel really great about it. And I don't like grants or anything like that, and I hate feeling like I'm begging for money or asking, and I can't stand donation jars and tip jars because it's imprecise. It's not a tip, it's not a donation, it's a transaction. It's all backwards, so much is backwards, but we're musicians, so we get to like maybe come up with some good new words that are more precise. Anyway, so I had have a little Airbnb, and I found that that's to me the new passive income. We used to get money from songs. They would generate new income while we got on with making new music, but we don't have that now, so we have to find a new passive income. So I started a collective. My sister has two, and so I started one also. So it's like rental and ongoing while you get on with other things, but you're providing something really beautiful for people. And so that Laundry Lane is just my solution, but I can encourage this for a lot of musicians or artists, something that will generate income while you do your work and isn't connected to your art, because it's very hard on people to have to separate their stress from their love of what they do. It's hard to do, and I think we need to keep our music as pure as we can, and our perspective that we're privileged to be musicians and artists, and lots of people would pay money to have the lives we have. I say that to kids. I said, so you want to be like a rock star? Yeah, it'd be the best life ever. Okay, how much would you like $10 a week? Yeah, that. So anyway, so it's just a good idea if you can. So in whatever cities you're in, like find a place with a good vibe and a cheap rent, and put tape on the floor and mark out your spaces and keep it cheap for musicians, but do your bookkeeping so you know how many you need to like have a bit of profit. And yeah, try it. Churches often have unused space, and it's win-win for everybody. And other things, yeah, be creative. Couldn't be better people to try to than us all to be thinking of creative ideas. Who better?
Where can
And
people
Jane
find out?
Siberry.
Oh, sorry, Paul. I was going to say, where can people find out about Laundry Lane a little more?
Google Laundry Lane and Jane Siberry. It's in
Okay.
Toronto, so it's for Toronto artists and writers and inventors. And you can, if you have a project like you want to finish a film script or want to start a film script, you just come and rent a table for a week or a month or whatever. And it's a great atmosphere. It's focused and it's communal, and it's really wonderful.
Your next single is being released. Is it this Friday, Jane?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Oh.
Yeah. And so when I
Is it
released
this Friday, Jane?
my father, definitely had my father's mind. Anyway, so it's this Friday, and where can people find that single?
my Facebook page,
Oh,
and I
even.
make it like a party. So like I talk about it, and then at the end I press the button, sort of, like, okay, here it goes.
What time?
Here's
What time?
one.
7:00
Seven-
Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
7
Friday.
o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So
Yeah,
everybody
just
tuning
come.
in, just make sure you mark your calendars now. Jane Siberry's Facebook page, 7 o'clock. It will be a party. We'll be there.
We'll be there, Jane.
Be silly with me.
We're not being silly. We'll be there. We're seriously, and hopefully everybody who's listening will join in as well to hear your new music.
Sure.
So many creative projects that you've been involved with. The one that I discovered recently was PI Squid.
Oh, yeah.
That was so much fun.
It's my detective show. I've wanted to have a talk show or something for a long time, so I just decided, okay, I'm just doing it on my phone. I can't explain it to people. I can't pitch it to anybody. I don't want to. I just want to do it. So I just did it on my phone mostly, and it's 6 episodes. They're about 5 minutes each, and it's a crime. We investigate crimes against common sense, of which there are many. So it sort of all goes with what we're all working on, I think,
Yeah. I just loved it. There were so many different ways. You can watch it quickly and watch it again. Watch it once just to look at the scenery and the people, and watch it again to listen, and then watch it again to hear the rhythm.
It's very, very.
I'm not saying I did that, but I
It's
did.
very, very funny.
I think it is, but yeah, well.
And the awkward silence. That was like
I know, Danny, P.I. Danny, yeah.
P.I. Danny.
Oh my God.
They were just and funnier the just by the timing of it. Maybe it's the musician in you. It's this beautiful timing. So
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I'm sure it has to do musician and comedic timing and all that timing. It's all connected, isn't it?
I think so. Well, it really shone through, and it had a great appeal in this setting as well. Kind of that vintage private investigator office look,
Oh,
and
God.
yet just looking at common sense everyday situations.
And their dogs are the bring the cases into the office, and we got a sample of an old French phone. Oh, it's so much fun to do, to just be goofy and
Perfect.
but it's about it's a vehicle for things we're talking about. So yeah, I might do more. I don't know.
It really enjoyable.
So it's Halloween coming up, and
is
this
it
is kind of a
fall? Oh.
unique Halloween, and it's kind of a coincidence more than anything, the Monster Love piece. But for us, we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the memories that we have from Halloween. I'll start with my own memory. I made a lot of money during Halloween with those UNICEF boxes. I don't know if you guys remember those UNICEF boxes that we had to carry around and collect cash, and
Yes.
I never really turned them in. I just kept all the money, I
Paul.
think.
You did it.
Shameful.
You did.
You did.
It's
No,
possible
but-
I took a little bit out.
Yeah, there was always a percentage that you
Who
had to
knew
keep.
you were a kid? Percentage. But yeah.
Any memories that you can share with us from, what did you like about Halloween, or are there any costumes or any particular times that are near and dear to your heart?
Oh, well, I did win a contest once. I went as a walking encyclopedia.
That's great.
That's what we call Rob sometimes.
What?
So-
Rob is. Oh, I see.
Rob is,
I
yeah.
love having people around like that.
I tend
So
to
do
go
we.
down the rabbit hole every so often.
Well, your two good friends know how to rein you in. Obviously, I've watched it already.
So how would you dress for a walking encyclopedia?
2 pieces of Bristol board, cut some holes, and put something on the spine that says encyclopedia, and the other side is like lines of the pages. I was really young, but my favorite costume was I went to a costume party once and I put a potato chip on my shoulder. But people would stare at it, and to see it dawn on their face just cracked me up. I'm perverted. I just did it for my own
No,
entertainment.
that's
What are you looking at?
that's epic. That's epic.
That's so Siberry.
Perfect.
That's epic.
What about you?
My favorite, it's a memory, and again, it's a prairie thing, and unless you grew up in the prairies, you really don't understand it. And no one says trick or treat in the prairies, at least not in Winnipeg, or apparently in Saskatchewan. They say, Halloween apples.
Why?
What?
That's what
Really?
they say. That's exactly what they
No,
say.
I didn't believe it, but apparently-
it's a thing, and people can look it up. It's real, and I miss it, and because just the musicality of it just takes me back to so many wonderful childhood memories,
Yeah,
especially
that's
in
nice.
Winnipeg, because you're always putting your costume over top of your snowsuit, because
Snowsuit.
it's always snowing on October 31st, and the costume you wore to school that afternoon couldn't fit over your snowsuit, so your mother had to split it in the back and sew it so you could get over top of your snowsuit. And then you just shriek Halloween apples, and it's a wonderful sound.
You know what's worse, Rob? When you get all dressed up for Halloween and then your mother puts a parka over your whole costume and nobody knows what you are.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah.
How about you, Sylvia?
I was one of those. I don't.
You used to greet. You had a thing that you do with the children that came to your door.
Well, as a mom, as a child, it was traumatic because I lived on a country road. You had to walk so far to get candy. And you would it's like 3 or 4. I heard about other kids going down the block and coming back with a pillowcase. I never even ever had a pillowcase full of candy.
You'd come back with one Tootsie Roll, one of those cheap Halloween orange candies.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah, and a bitten apple.
I didn't know. I thought you just had to keep walking.
It sounds
Yeah, it was
like it's
pathetic.
traumatic for you, Sylvia.
was.
So maybe we'll move on.
No, maybe.
Well, Jane, we're very grateful that you were on the show, and we thank you very much for joining us. It's really been an honor, and we're getting some incredible comments coming in. Lots of interest and lots of people showing their love. So we're going to escort you. Fluffy's going to escort you to the green room, and if you want to join us later on for our after party, they get really crazy. But please stick around, and we'll have our little virtual after party as well.
Right.
So we'll escort you to the green room, and we want to thank you very much on behalf of ourselves and our audience for joining us tonight. And please tune in on Friday night for the release of Jane's new music.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
Oh, you still want? I want to be sure to wish everybody all the very, very best. And that let's link arms and keep ourselves on track in the most loving way. And I'm so grateful to be part of a stream of really people who really care and don't mind looking foolish. We've just got to move forward. That's all.
Thank you again, Jane.
Thank you,
Thank you
Jane.
so much.
Thank you.
We're just going to play just a little bit of Monster Love on our way out, too.
Okay. Take me by the hand.
Mystery.
Folks, Jane Siberry.
It's
Thank
coming
you.
together.
Thanks, Jane. We love you.
Eyes are more so low. Eyes are more so low.
Wow, that was pretty amazing, guys. Oh,
Pal, your spider's back.
Bloody thing.
which-
You know what it is? It's my hair.
It's your hair.
He's small now.
It attracts. It's smoke. You got.
Yeah, I just got so much hairspray. It's edible. I have edible hairspray. Stop it.
Well, why don't we play some music? Paul, do you want to play a tune?
Okay, you insist.
Yeah, I insist. Actually, I would really enjoy it if you played a tune.
All right. It's really hard playing after Jane Siberry, but this is a tune we wrote. It's a Waterstreet original, and I chose it because it's our Halloween show, and it's a little macabre, but don't take the lyrics
you
too
said
seriously.
it was about me.
It is about you. I wrote it about you. When I first met Sylvia, she was wearing a lot of polyester. It was when polyester was big. And Sylvia really kind of went full-face deep dive into polyester. Yeah. And I think everything you were wearing at the time, even your shoes, were polyester.
We had to make sure that you didn't go near open flames. That was the most important thing.
Stupid thing. Can you get rid of that?
Sure.
Drive me nuts, man.
Okay, you give it a good whack.
Yeah. So, in keeping with the Sylvia theme, this one's called Mean Vicious Woman, and I thought it would be kind of, so it's fictional, right? It's not a real thing, but and it's a little macabre, but take it with a grain of salt and think of it as a comedic kind of piece. And so I'm gonna play this on bass, which is again unusual to do bass and vocals together, but this is really all I have right now. She lights another cigarette. She pumps another drink. She's wrapped in polyester, but she's acting like it's me. She's propped at the hoochie coochie bar as she watches the tide come in. At 6 a.m. tomorrow, she'll be watching it out again. She's a mean, vicious woman, she's down and dirty cruel. She never was a much for loving, she never was a much for men. She chew them up and spit them out, and then she'd chew them up again. She'll be laughing if you ask her about the one she left behind. She'll say if you're looking for them, look 6 feet underground. She's a mean, vicious woman, she's down and dirty cruel. She's a hard, evil lady with a bad, bad attitude. There ain't no moral to this story. There ain't no reason or rhyme. It's just something that I'm doing to help me pass the time. You see, I'm lying in a hospital bed, and I've got the guts to prove it. I when messing with that woman who's got that bad, bad attitude. She's a mean, vicious woman, she's down and dirty cruel. She's a hot, evil lady with a bad, bad attitude. She's a mean, vicious woman, she's down and dirty cruel.
All right.
Down and
Spooky.
dirty.
Kind of spooky,
Down
eh?
and
Very
dirty.
spooky, very
Down and
spooky.
dirty.
Yeah.
Especially with
I
that
frightened myself.
mask.
I frightened myself in the middle of that.
Yeah, it was scary.
Well, we're going to do.
Wow.
We were going to do an original, but we decided that in the spirit of Halloween that we would do, and because we talked a little bit about Screaming Jay Hawkins, that we would do a Screaming Jay Hawkins tune. So we're going to do a version of "I Put a Spell on You."
Let's try that.
Go, spider, go.
I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. You better stop the things you do. But I ain't lying. You know I can't stand it. You'll run around. You ought to know better, Daddy. As you put me down, I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. You know I can't stand it. You'll run around. You ought to know better, Daddy. Oh, you're putting me down. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine.
Go, spider, go.
You know I love you, I love you, I love you anyhow. I don't care if you don't want me. I'm yours right now. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Because you're mine. Because you're mine. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how do you put up with such
I,
That was excellent effort.
thanks, Paul.
It's very relaxing.
Yeah, it was
It's
very relaxing.
It's very relaxing to play. I'm glad you waited till it was almost
This
done.
goddamn spiders drive me completely insane.
I think its work is done. It's completed its work.
Fluffy, go take that spider away.
Oh, well,
Screaming Hawkins tune.
Yeah.
that spider was in sync so often. It's fascinating.
He's rhythmic.
We have a commentator.
Yes.
We do. It's good. It's good.
Oh, yes, I thought.
There's a few kids watching, so hope you're having fun, guys.
Well,
That's
I
good.
think we've probably come to close to the end of the show, folks. We're really happy that everybody has joined us for this special Halloween show. And don't forget, Saturday night will be a very special night for your own trick-and-treaters in your own home. And get dressed up at home and have fun at home in costume.
So just be like my Halloweens.
It will be.
Just
And we'd really like to thank our very, very special guest, Jane Siberry, for joining us this evening on this very special evening.
And Jane, it's Friday at 7. We have another
Single
release party.
on her Facebook page. So go to Jane Siberry's Facebook page this Friday at 7 p.m. and hear new music.
Yeah, we'll be putting up a reminder on our Facebook page, and we'd like to hopefully share our audiences for that event as well. So very excited about that, Jane. Thank you.
Well, I think it's time for us to pack up.
It's over now.
It's over.
And,
All right.
It's over now.
I've only got 2 minutes left on my contract.
Let's get packing. Wow.
You never carry anything, Paul. You carry nothing. You just supervise.
It's in my
Supervise.
contract.
The kids did a lot, though, Paul. Aw.
This has been the Waterstreet Blues Band. It was talking about undead. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy your Halloween.
I'm Jane Siberry.
She wants another drink. She's wrapped in polyester, but she's acting like it's mink. She's propped at the hoochie coochie bar as she watches the attack of me. 6 a.m. tomorrow, she'll be watching it out again. She's a mean, vicious woman, she's down and dirty. She never was much for loving. She never was much for men. She chew 'em up and spit 'em out, and then she chew them up again. She'll be laughing if you ask her about the one she left behind. She'll say if you're looking for the nook 6 feet underground. She's a mean, vicious woman, she's down and dirty. She's a hot evil lady with a bad, bad attitude. story, there ain't no reason or rhyme. It's just something that I'm doing to help me pass the time. You see, I'm lying in a hospital bed, and I've got the guts to prove I went dancing with that woman who's got that bad attitude. She's a mean, vicious woman, she's down and dirty cool. She's a hard, evil lady with a bad attitude. She's a mean, vicious woman, she's down and dirty cool.